It's my pleasure to introduce you to two very talented artists, countertenor Michael Shoaf and pianist Susan Davies. As you enjoy this special recital, please know you can skip ahead or backwards to songs and interviews using the drop-down menu if you're watching this on YouTube or the progress bar if you're watching this on Vimeo. I'd also like to humbly invite you to help Opera San Luis Obispo continue releasing free content like this by sending a check in any amount to P.O. Box 14760, San Luis Obispo, California 93406. Now sit back and enjoy the recital, and thanks for being with us. Michael, thank you so much for being with us today.
No problem.
Have you always been a countertenor, or did you evolve into this fach?
So for me, I didn't choose to be a countertenor until about 2015. I always had this party trick in high school. I could always sing soprano, but most of my life I actually wanted to be a bass. I kind of evolved into a tenor for choir singing, for church singing, that type of stuff, because being a party trick, people would laugh at it, so I never took it seriously until a choir teacher said, "Hey, are you a countertenor?" I was like, "What is that?" She was like, "Go home and look it up." And then that point forward, I made that conscious effort, especially because I love Baroque music and Renaissance music, and that is just filled with repertoire for me.
Do you remember in your education the moment when you had gone home and researched what being a countertenor is, and then came back and said, here is me as a countertenor? What was that? How did that happen?
So it was early on, before I served my own church mission. I decided to look at what it was, and it seemed interesting, but kind of like, oh, it's it sounds a little hard. And when I came back, I met a wonderful teacher, Christine Szynski, who passed away a few years ago, that sat me in front of the piano and said, here it is. And I went home that night. I was like, that's phenomenal. I could do so much work. This is so invigorating. And why be a tenor when I could do something that not everybody's doing?
Michael, what is the role a countertenor plays in classical music today?
Absolutely. That is a fantastic question. A lot of us are trying to rediscover ourselves. Thankfully, Benjamin Britten in the early 1900s made and composed Midsummer Night's Dream off of William Shakespeare. And he wrote the part of Oberlin specifically for Alfred Deller, who was the new countertenor that was actually producing solo rep. Because before that, we were church singers. We were in the church choirs. We were the male altos, the male sopranos of the church choirs. And so as that progressed and countertenors started getting a presence, then we started seeing us take the roles of the castrati, that I sang about, and it was wonderful to hear, what it would have been back then, because we still have one viable recording of castrati, but we're just not the same anymore, obviously. And going forward, people like Jonathan Dove and other great composers are starting to actually revitalize the role of a countertenor as a specific role instead of a replacement role.
Tears fall from your springs, exiled forever, let me mourn. When night's blackbird a sad infamy sings, let me live alone. Down main lights shine you no more. No nights are dark enough for those that in despair their last fortunes deplore. Night doth but shame disclose. Never may my woes be relieved, since pity is fled, and tears and sighs and groans my weary days, all joys have deprived. From your highest spire of contentment, my fortune is thrown, and fear and grief and pain for my deserts, are my hopes, since hope is gone. Hark, you shadows that in darkness dwell, learn to contemn light. Happy, happy
Susan,
Yes.
what challenges does accompanying a singer present that's, say, unique and different from being in a chamber music situation, in an orchestra, at a concerto?
Playing for singers has its biggest challenge in that you're dealing with text. And actually, it's more of a blessing than a challenge, I would say, because you know exactly what the composer intends with the music around the text because we have words to deal with. So it's making that happen. It's almost like you're providing the palette behind the actual picture, right? That is being described or the story being described by the singer. I get to be like the set decorator in the back. So to me, I find that very fun because you're dealing with lots of different colors and things like that. So most enjoyable.
What challenges did this special recital present?
Well, because I'm dealing with a countertenor, different range, different strengths in the range. You have to be careful of balance always. Also, the repertoire, we did a lot of Baroque music and even earlier. So there's a lot of having to do with ornamentation and stylistic concerns. And then we had 20th century on the other side, kind of a big gap in there of the Romantic literature, which we did not touch at all today. So in many ways, I think they're very related. I mean, you have the clarity, I think, that exists in 20th century music. I think particular challenges, certainly with the Heggie, with it being just a devil to play and to sing. And so that
transparency is
the transparency is exactly, is very, it has to be there with 20th century music. You can't just gloss it over with a ton of notes, oftentimes with some of the other earlier periods.
Welcome, wanderer. Hast thou the flower there? I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where ox lips and the nodding violet grows. Quite over canopy with luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses, and with eglantine. There sleeps Titania sometime of the night, lulled in these flowers with dances and delight. And there the snake, the rose her enameled skin, now some of it and seek through this grove. A sweet Athenian lady is in love with a disdainful youth. Anoint his eyes, but do it when the next thing he espies may be the lady. Thou shalt know the man by the Athenian garments he hath on.
Can you give us an example of a creative choice you made in this program that really demonstrates your signature as an artist?
Absolutely. So with Baroque music, it's all about ornamentation. So it's never going to be the same twice usually. Directors decide to change things in the moment. For me, I made a lot of artistic decisions that were mine. I sat there, I looked over the theory of the music, the chordal progression. I was like, these notes work and it's comfortable for me, and I love that. And that was one thing that continued to progress me as a countertenor, is being able to be fluid with what I want, but still being true to the composer.
Fammi combattere, mostri ti fei, nuovi trofei, se vuoi da mio valor. Fammi combattere, mostri ti fei, nuovi trofei, se vuoi da mio valor, dal mio valor. Fammi combattere, fammi combattere.
Joanna, thank you so much for sponsoring this exciting recital. Can you tell us a little bit about your connection to arts in our community?
So this is really exciting for me to be here too. Yes, we love, I have 4 children, so 3 out of 4 were definitely, and still are, 2 of them are involved in drama at Templeton High School. 1 is on stage and 1 is behind the scenes in the tech department. And then my oldest daughter was in a choir for years, pretty much her whole schooling. And I just find that it's so important for young people to be involved in this type of education, and the drama teachers, they do so much for them. It's kind of gives them a first spark of passion, and they get involved and included, and they can be themselves. And it's just amazing to see from the parent point of view. It changed our family life, it changed my kids' life, and we couldn't be more appreciative to be part of it.
Joanna, you're originally from Poland, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how your journey led you from that exciting Eastern European country to California's beautiful Central Coast.
Well, I would say the other way around. Exciting part is being here in this beautiful country. Growing up in a communist country wasn't as exciting, but definitely prepped me for life. So, I met my husband. He was on vacation. I was 18 years old, and we fell in love, and I came here as a fiance, and we decided to get married and then date later. But being here on Central Coast, it's just the most amazing. I pinch myself every day thinking, how could I be here from, communist country behind Iron Curtain, and now enjoy all this? It's almost unbelievable.
The
Susan, you're such an expressive player. For our young musicians out watching, I think it's important for them to get an idea of what expressive playing is and what inexpressive playing is. Can you give us an example of where that contrast happens in your music?
Okay, see if you can guess which is which, all right?
I'm going to go with number 2 being expressive. Susan, we're both pianists, and I understand the individuality of how we get ready to perform. Can you share with us, how do you get ready? What's your warm-up routine?
I wouldn't say I have a definite routine. To me, it's more important that my hands are warm in some way or another. Oftentimes, the technical challenges that I face in music, I can just get by practicing the music. I mean, those things are covered in there. So oftentimes, I'll start with maybe a piece that's a little easier technically, that gets my fingers moving. Mozart's a good choice, just something that gets your fingers going. And to me, that's a good warm-up.
This note from my throat. Conjures imagine memories of old mills who stood upon a stage and with their scales and drills sang stories of heroic deeds which seemed to satisfy the needs of listeners long dead and gone. Now we are here to carry on. This note from my throat. Causes creative fantasies of times gone by when Bambanooted sang, and they would try to move their audience with grace and art, still mindful of that missing part that changed their lives and made their song so precious, rare, and yet so wrong. The songs they sing, I'll sing again. A modern echo of those men, portraying my voice stylistically correct, and hope these threads of tissue in my throat connect with something of those spirit voices, trilling soft and sweet. share the mystery. This note, this note, this note comes from my heart. La 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 la. It wasn't long ago that people laughed when I would sing. They weren't uncomfortable with what I had to say. But when I tried it to a tune, they all would look away. The smirk upon their faces taught me this small thing. Bitch can be a bitch. La 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 la. My post-pubescent peer group in a touring schoolboy choir would never mention it, but I could clearly see their smug and spotty faces singing part T.O.B. But when I tried to baritone, I was alarmed. Bitch can be a bitch. La 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 la. La 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 la. Even teachers who specialized in voices believed I had some choices. When they heard me, they shake their heads and wonder, how did it get so much like a mezzo? La 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 la. La 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 I have to smile when I think back to those days in the past. For now those very notes are what I need to sing. We men who sing those higher notes are few and far between. You've heard it said that laughter's best when it is last. Bitch can be a bitch, but so can I. La 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 la. Are my songs numbered by some accountant? Who keeps a score of every note I utter, my every vocal flutter, till I can sing no more. Should I be stingy and number every note that you will hear on vocal inventory becomes an allegory? What I really feel. Silence. It is the silence that in some future time will come to me, now makes my song ring clearer, and your attention nearer. Let's make a memory. So look around you, remember who you're with, and if you dare, recall just how you're feeling. For music can be healing, and songs are meant to
Joanna, tell us a little bit about your philosophy about being a realtor in today's challenging market.
This is my second career, by the way. So I was a hairdresser for 25 years and my body couldn't do it anymore. So all my clients decided that I needed to go into real estate. So under protest, I decided that I'm going to be a realtor. And now I love it. And it's, my philosophy is take care of people. When we do business with someone, we always ask ourselves, can I trust you? Do you know what you're doing? Are you good at it? And do you care about me? And those are all the things that I always strive to do, and be prepared, know my stuff, and take care of my clients. So I want to work by referral, and by doing the great first-time job, the referrals come just by nature.
This is a very special piano that you helped bring to Opera San Luis Obispo. Can you tell us that exciting story?
So this is part of the real estate, that when you're selling a home or helping your clients sell the home, sometimes you have a piano that
Has to go
because the buyers don't want it. Unfortunately, we're always hoping that someone will love. And I was just so sad that I couldn't find a home for this. And I was relentless in making sure that this piano will not end up in dump somewhere. So I just had to find a home for it. And it came from Mr. Bob Brown, who was working for the radio station, KVC. He was the news anchor for many years. And when the radio station needed room for TV station, they decided that they needed to get rid of the piano. And Mr. Brown's wife, Sue, loved playing piano. And so they gave it to him. And he had this piano where Sue played all the time until she passed away. So then when we were downsizing to a smaller property, we had this piano, and I just always thought that it was very special, and I wish I could play.
And this is a very special piano. It's a 1936 Baldwin with real ivory and ebony keys. It's been partially restored, as you heard in this wonderful concert today. But today we're going to really make it special by dedicating it to Sue Brown, and you have a special way of doing that.
I did. I had designed a plaque that is donated by Bob Brown in memory of Sue Brown. And I'm just going to put it on the piano. So, there we go.
And there it is.
And there it is.
Tacito, nascosto, quando vino di prida, l'astuto cacciatore. Quando vino di prida, l'astuto cacciatore. Va tacito e nascosto, quando vedo di prida, l'astuto cacciatore. Va tacito, nascosto, quando vedo di prida, l'astuto cacciatore, l'astuto cacciatore. Va tacito e nascosto, quando vedo di prida, l'astuto cacciatore, l'astuto cacciatore. L'astuto cacciatore. E chiama al far disposto, non brama che si veda l'inganno nel suo cor, l'inganno nel suo cor, l'inganno nel suo cor. E chiama al far disposto, non brama che si veda l'inganno nel suo cor, l'inganno del suo cor. tacito, nascosto, quando vivo e riprida, l'astuto cacciator. Quando vivo e riprida, l'astuto cacciator. Tacito e nascosto, quando vivo e riprida, l'astuto cacciator. Tacito, nascosto, quando vivo e riprida, l'astuto cacciator, l'astuto cacciator. Tacito e nascosto, quando vivo e riprida, l'astuto cacciator, l'astuto cacciator, l'astuto cacciator.
Michael, the sound of a countertenor is so new and exciting for especially some of our younger listeners. Can you talk a little bit about what makes the sound of that fox so intriguing?
Absolutely. I mean, at first glance, if you can close your eyes while I'm singing or somebody else is singing, it sounds completely different than your visual aspect. And so the connection of the visual versus the hearing and the aural, like that, give it that intriguing nature. You're staring at a man singing in a feminine register that still has some masculine to it, and having that bottom end of that feminine voice is what makes that intriguing. You're like, I've never heard this. This is phenomenal. I want to keep hearing it, and it's one of those things that even I'm intrigued when I listen back on recordings. I'm like, that doesn't sound like me. That really doesn't sound like me. And then I watch it and I'm like, okay, that was me.
Michael, we have many young listeners and professionals as well, and I'm always interested in how different the warm-up routine of a singer is. Tell us a little bit about how you warm up and get ready for that performance moment.
So for me, it's all about the flexibility of my voice. Obviously, we sing a lot of fast rolls, but I'm also singing in a different register than obviously my modal voice. And so for me, it always starts with using vowels that I choose and like E, like E. And then when I'm singing songs, I pull out the text completely. And I use an NG, like in the word sing. I'm like, and so I can have that nice flexibility of range and make that siren sound that I can find where my passaggio is and what passageway I need to feel in the back of my throat, so it's not like and breaking back into my modal voice.
So when you're warming up, is there a certain routine that you go through every time and then you know you're ready to sing, or are you waiting to feel something internally to let you know, okay, I've warmed up and now let's begin the repertoire?
I mean, I go through some rote recitation of warm-up, singing minor scales, major scales, and stuff like that. But if I'm being really honest with you, Brian, I know I'm ready to sing when I'm singing Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, like full-fledged. And it's a way for me to relax because I love Freddie Mercury, and he has an exquisite range, just like me. And I mean, I dare say he might have been a countertenor if he studied more and went more classical. But he sings a nice high B flat in that song. And so when I'm warmed up and ready, I hit that and it feels so good. And I can just sing the rest of the song in peace and then go on working my classical music.
So the next time I program Bohemian Rhapsody for full orchestra, give you a call.
Absolutely. I'll be hands down and ready and available.
Cerco in mano di placare il mio bel nome, se le stelle a me van Cerco in mano di placare, gli do il mio bel nome, se le stelle a me fan guerra, cerco in mano di placare, gli do il mio bel nome, se le stelle a me van guerra, se le stelle mi van guerra.
Thinking about selling your home? Do it the right way. Presentation. Eye-catching photos and high-quality video productions are great ways to capture the attention of prospective buyers and make your listing stand out from the competition. Reach and distribution. With a consumer direct marketing approach, you can get your listing seen by thousands of prospective buyers by targeting them where they look most, online. Brand power of Century 21. Leveraging the brand power of one of the most recognized companies in real estate can help you attract more buyers and successfully sell your house fast and for top dollar. Don't settle for average. Relentless moves. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation.